All right. Does anybody see me? All right. Anybody here? All right. Sound check. 1 2 1 2. Sound check. Everybody hear me all right? Perfect. All right. So let's go into some charts. It's what we all want to know, right? What's Bitcoin going to do? What are altcoins doing? And so let's just look at Bitcoin, right? It's a leader. And so my thinking this whole time, and if you guys have been seeing me post in the channel, and I much prefer going live instead of just typing a bunch of bullcrap in the channel. I much prefer this a lot better because I can talk and I can show and share everything. But here's kind of what my thinking is. Okay, is that it's all about the moving averages, right? Okay, and so when I look at Bitcoin, once it broke above the 200-day moving average right back here, it made the nice big move, right? So we love it. Great, obviously people made money here, but now we're chopping around and just kind of drifting back towards the 200-day moving average, right? Everybody can talk all about, and I think people back in here were probably like, oh, we're going to break out and we're going to go above. That's all fine and dandy, but at some point you need a kickstart, right? You need to kick off something. Something's got to kick this thing to the upside or the downside, okay? Because there's always the possibility for a downside as well. My whole thinking has been that everything comes back and tests the moving averages, right? It came back here, tested the 10, tested the 20, tested the 50, came back and got below the 50, hooked back up, meandering around right in here, okay? And so here we are with the 200-day moving average sitting just right where almost that gap fill area is. And I know that there's probably another gap on a 4-hour chart on the futures, probably back around 7,200, 7,300. But the main focus is right here, this area. Okay, and this is 8,300 to 8,500. Okay, I'm not saying that it has to get down there. It definitely does not. But I'm just saying that if it does, that is a major play area, okay? And you can see where price is coming up, and it's getting into this zone where we had old resistance, new support, all right? So it's coming up here. Logically, one would think price would come down and test it one more time, logically. But again, it's the market. Doesn't have to do exactly what we think it's going to do, but that's what we assume. So, anyway, let's zoom in and let's look at this, okay? And everybody is getting so sick and tired, and I know, I get it, trust me too. You go up and you wake up and you look at your Bitcoin price and you're going, golly, it's at 10,300, or oh my gosh, it's at 10,100, or it's at 10,700. It just doesn't seem to go anywhere, right? It's chewing people up in here. This is all about accumulation. Somebody is accumulating in this area. Okay, that's my point. They may actually accumulate more down here. But it seems like somebody does not want this price to go below this area right in here. And you can see higher low, kind of stayed in this area, higher low, and then we're coming up into here again. So does Bitcoin fall off a cliff and come down here, say toward the end of the month? Or does it just hold the moving averages? Because look at this. And this is very important, guys. 10, 20, and 50 EMAs are all lined up right on top of each other right here. I mean, they are, almost within a penny of each other right in here. Okay? And look at price. Price is just hovering right around all three of them. That's not a mistake. That's not a coincidence. It's just what it is. Price is just holding right here. So whether we break down out of this or we break up out of it, that's going to be the key player. And I would only say this, okay, is that given this downtrend line that we've got, okay, and you can see right here it failed, okay? And what has happened every time? Price drops. Price drops. Price drops. Okay? I'm not sitting here saying that price is going to go all the way down to here, but if I'm going off past history, I can't help but think that it may drop. Okay? And it could drop down into here. That would be around 9,500. Okay? Maybe a little lower. Or we could go all the way down to the 200 and test on a wick. And it could be a news event. You know, let's just say something happens where China says something, or North Korea or South Korea says something, and it wicks, and everybody panics, and it gets down and wicks down to the 200, and then takes off from there. Just something to watch, you know. But right now, you know, I've just got this feeling that in my mind, although, you know, everybody's talking about it's a bullish, a bearish descending triangle, right? You got this downtrend line right here, and you've got a base right here. As long as price holds right here, where the 200-day moving average is, then chances are we break out of that and go to the upside. Okay? But if it breaks down out of that, then my whole call about the bear market being over is wrong. Okay? I still think this is a new bull market, but I just think that, you know, you have to look at everything and just make sure you're right. Okay? And right now, price is just hovering. It's doing nothing. It's just chewing a lot of people up. There's a lot of people out there on Twitter, I'm sure, that are oh, it's going to break up and it's going to go and make new highs, or it's going to break down and it's going to make new lows. Let them do whatever they want. My point is that why do anything until you get a clear view, right? You could have a small position of Bitcoin, right? Just take a small, tiny pit, because I think everybody should own some Bitcoin at some point. But as far as being all in, no. I would not be all in right now. I mean, you could obviously get cheaper prices down here, or you could play the breakout. Because if it breaks out of this, then you could buy it on the breakout of that trend line and you're still good, right? Because it's going to keep running. I mean, it's just going to, this is a breakout pattern if it breaks out of that, right? It'll go up to the trend line up around, what, 12,900? So if it breaks out of this, and let's say it's 11,004 or something, you could still buy and still make a 1,000-point move, right? So, but to keep yourself safe, own a little bit, a small portion, maybe like a quarter of your portfolio, and just in case it breaks down, then you could add a little bit down here and then play the breakout to the upside. I still think it eventually goes up. What's my opinion on the backed? We'll have, it's launching. Everybody knows that that's coming, right? I think it's already priced in. I don't think it's, when news comes out or when it hits, I don't think that's going to be any big deal. You know what I'm saying? But I think that people are going to start pricing in the next event. And what's the next event going to be? We don't know yet. Somebody knows. We just don't know. Right? But going back and look at this, I mean, and here's the thing, okay? Look at this, guys. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. We came out, we made a big move to the upside, and we're consolidating, okay? This is not bearish, okay? It's not. It looks bearish, right? Only because we came out all the way up here and we're coming down and doing this. This is consolidation. That is just consolidation before the next move to the upside, in my opinion. Okay? And like I say, I mean, let me do this. I mean, I hate to, I go over and I love looking at line charts. I mean, line charts are just for closing prices. They're just awesome. They really are. And look at this. We may actually see the 200-day move. We could go sideways for another 3 to 4 weeks, and the 200-day moving average comes up here, and it comes down, tests it, and then takes off. We may not get down below 9,000. Right? I mean, everybody thinks price is probably going to come down and get into this area, but it may not. I think at some point maybe it wicks down there. There could be a wick event. Where price just craters all the way down and then reverses all in one day, and you get one of those big hammer sticks. But I'm looking at this on closing. This is all based on closing price. Okay? Closing price. And so far, we're just kind of doing a sideways action, consolidating. And that's why I have not been real active lately, because there's just not a lot to talk about. I mean, it's just kind of, other than this one little move right here, there's not a lot to talk about. It's like just stuck in a range. It's just not doing much. It's getting close, but it could do this for another couple of weeks. Patience. Patience is the word. All right, so let's go look at, that's Bitcoin. Let's go look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, which seems to be on everybody's mind. And this is what controls alts for the most part. But guys, did I not get this right? I mean, come on. Did I not get this just almost to the top? Fib cluster right there said that could be a possible high for the dominance chart. And it's cratering down off of it. And it's been good for alts, right? And that's why I got in EOS. And look what EOS is doing. Which, this is just beautiful. This is absolutely what I wanted to see when I posted about it the other night. Holding the double bottom, right? I think I got in right around here that one night that I told you guys about it. I got in here, held the double bottom, and then just boom, went right off of it. Got through the 38.2, so I'm going to take that out. So it's busted through the 38.2. Probably going to go up and test, it's testing the upper Bollinger Band right now, so that's resistance. But after that, probably the 50% retracement right up here at 391. Oh, thanks, Jordan. I appreciate it. And it's actually, I think it's been one of the best performing alts out there. It was over 10% yesterday and another 5 or so percent today. So it's been a good one. One of my better calls lately. But anyway, right here would be, in this area is probably a good point to maybe take some profits. At least get a little bit off the table. Okay. You don't have to go all the way out, but go to my trading plan and you'll see what it's all about. You get your initial profit out, let some, profit ride. And then if it gets back and comes back down into the 10 EMA, because the 10, the 20 still have not hooked each other, right? They still haven't crossed. You could come back and play this area probably because on a retracement, it's probably going to come back down to about 350, I would think. Maybe even the 360 to 350 area. And maybe even a little bit lower. You may be able to get it back around the 10 EMA. 343. And then you just kind of like see what happens in here. And if it just holds this area and just kind of retraces a little bit, holds that area, and then just takes off again, that would be beautiful. But alts are primed for a run. They're primed for one of those runs, right? We're getting in that zone where like it's almost like penny stocks back in the day, where after Labor Day, all these shit coins and alts they bottom out and they start to run, because all the guys are back from vacation and they want to try to run them and make their money and get the year-end quota, blah blah blah. So this could be one of them right here, and that is just perfect. Double bottom right there, just double bottom. Nice move off of it, and it's going to go higher, I think. So anyway, I'm looking for 4 plus on this one. $4 plus. Be nice to be able to catch it on a. Catch a little bit more on a retrace, and then ride up here, maybe up to the 200-day moving average, which that could be like next week or maybe the week after, something like that. But Anyway, just love it. That worked out just perfect. Love it. Okay, so let's look at some other ones. DGB is just that's a long-term hold. I'm not really worried about it. It'll do its thing at some point. It's holding this little area right in here with the wicks. You see the wicks? That's support. When you see long wicks coming out the bottom, that's support. Okay. Let's go to RVN. RVN is... Yeah, I'll check... Oh, yeah, ADA. Yeah, I'll check it. Yeah, you bet. RVN is just kind of holding lower Bollinger Band and the 127.2. This thing could bust through. Not saying it's going to happen tonight or tomorrow, but it has a potential to break through and get up to the upper 300s. 311 right now. Could get up here before it pulls back. Let's go look at ADA. Yeah, and so ADA's the same kind of situation. I mean, Cardano. Look at this. I mean, just holding this area right here. Got below the lower Bollinger Band. Didn't like it. And that's what I always talk about when you see these Bollinger Bands. If they get out, price gets outside of it, that's a perfect time to buy in. And it reversed nicely off of it. So, stochastic RSI is hooking up nicely. It could test up in here. Could test the 200. Or actually, I think that's the 50-day moving average on it. Yeah, it is. That's the 50-day moving average. So it could test the 50 and the upper Bollinger Band up around 504. So that's only 50 sats. It's not a big percentage. I mean, it could get past that. But you go over here. Here's the thing on Cardano. Look at this. So, right there. Okay. And let me do this, and I'll put a red on it instead of green. All right. So, this is the area you want to watch, right? Because this was support, big time support, and it broke through. And then it came over here and failed when it tried to break back through it, right? You see that? Right there? Couldn't break through and drop back down. This is a major area to get through. Okay? So if it can break through 526, 530, then it's got room to run. Okay? Possibly getting the 600s after that, but you've got to get past this red line right there. See it? Got to get past it. So you could, it's obviously made a higher low, right? Which is a good sign. Higher low. But it's got to get past this area right in here, and that's tough. That is really tough. So when it comes to alts, and I know we're all programmed into it right now, is that we can't break through resistance, right? You go back and you look and you're like, every time you think it's going to break out, boom, long, drawn out sell-off, right? We're coming up, we're going to rally. No, sell-off. So don't let it kick in the butt. Just, if you're in it, try to ride it up until here and then take profits. Okay? Take profits. But leave some in the bag according to the trading plan. You know what I'm saying? If you've got a good entry and you're in it, then take your initial profits plus a little bit of profit, right? And get out and leave some in it just in case it does break through. That's what my theory is always about, is like, just because, you know, you get into here, you know, you get a good entry, get your initial profits out and take some profits. But then just in case it does something like this and goes down, you're riding free. Who cares what it does? You could rinse and repeat. Okay, I'll do the same thing down here. I'll get in, take my initial profits, you know, or initial investment plus profit, and just do the same thing all over again. And then at some point, when you've collected enough shares, they're all riding free, right? It's like free money. So if this thing blasts off and goes to, you know, 700-800, then you're not sitting there going, well, I missed the boat, or, you know, anything like that. You're like, I'm in it, but I'm riding free. I'm not buying anything. It's not costing me a dime. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people that I've seen on crypto Twitter that have pointed out the way that I'm doing this. I really don't. I mean, I think a lot of people are probably just go all in right here and then get all out right here, you know, or they try to guess that way. Well, if you go all in, what if you was to go all in right here? Well, then you've lost money because it drops down to here. My point is that right here, you could, after this move, you could still get in, but only go a quarter in, right? You're not risking 100% of your portfolio, but you could go 1/4 in and you're risking 1/4 of your portfolio. And then if it moves up, then what do? When it gets to a point, and you have to calculate it, but when it gets to a point to where you can get your initial investment out, plus a little bit of profit, then you do it. You take your profit plus your investment and you let the rest ride free. Now, you're not going to have as many shares, obviously, because if you bought, let's just say if you got in at this and you had 100,000 shares and you get out, and now all of a sudden you only have 25,000, then so what? It's 25,000 and it could go to the moon, right? But it also could drop off a cliff. But the point being is that you still have 2,500 shares, but you've made money. You've made money, and that 2,500 is nothing. It's like, just forget about it. It's there. If this thing goes to the moon or goes to $10, I've got 2,500 of it. Yeah, that's exactly right, Friesen. It's not much, but it still helps your overall portfolio. And if you was to do that on several other altcoins, guess what? All it takes is for one of those to go to the, like, I've seen numerous of these things go, just take off. For whatever reason, they just take off. And if you just so happen to be in one of those where it's just a small position, you know, maybe you made a little bit of money right here. I mean, who's to say that ADA tomorrow couldn't be up here? You'd be sitting there going, you know what? Sure glad I got into it right here and took some profits, but left some on the table. Build a portfolio. You know, there's nothing more glorious than looking in your account and you're holding about 15, 16 altcoins and they're all riding free, right? They're all riding free money. May not be a lot of shares, but could be one of those that takes off and goes, you know, blasts off somewhere. And then you're going, you know what? That JR guy, he told me make sure to keep a little bit. Okay, so that's ADA. Let's go look at some other potentials here. ZRX. You know, it's almost like some of these other altcoins, they're just kind of bottoming out down in this area. I mentioned this the other night. They're all hovering right around this 127.2 retracement, which is a key reversal point. What else? ICX kind of holding around the 78.6 retracement. All right. Bollinger Bands are tight. This one I would think probably goes lower though. I would almost suspect down to the 120. Let's take a look. Hang on. I don't think I had the 127.2 in there. Let me look at this. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Possible this moves down here. Okay. Maybe down to this area right in here. ETH. Yeah, let me look at it. I did this one the other night. Trying to remember what I said about it. I was thinking that, like, if it didn't hold this 161.8, that it would come down and test this fib cluster right down here, which is major support, right? That right there, that area right there is major support. That's 138 to 140. But right now it's doing a good job of holding the 161.8 retracement from this high or this low to this high, right? That swing low to this swing high. And it's holding the 161.8. So right now, bullish, right? But scrolling in, I would like to see, and this is not a bad candle formation, all right? Bullish engulfing, okay, right there. Would like to see this candle close green. Okay, we still have a little bit of ways to go, probably another hour or so, maybe a couple hours, but I want to see that candle close green for confirmation that that candlestick is true. Okay? But I like how it's bouncing off the lower Bollinger Band. One would think, okay, and you go back here and see what's happened in the past. Lower Bollinger Band came up, failed the 10 EMA. Lower Bollinger Band test way below, came back up and could not get above the 20 EMA. All right. Tested the 10, couldn't get past. 10 couldn't get past, dropped price lower. Now we're above the 10 EMA. The key is, can it close above this 20 EMA? That's going to be the key right here. Get above that, and it could run. And if it does, that'll take alts with it, right? Because ETH is kind of like the alt index, really. So if it can close above that 20 EMA, that would be very nice. That would be good. Looking at, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Looking at it on a longer term, you know, you spread it out a little bit. Obviously, back in here, this was ugly, right? Ugly. Let's go out and look and just kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, this could break out of this, right? Could break out of it. But until it breaks above the 10 and the 20 and closes above them, that's your starting point, right? Got to get past those. You know, that's the whole key. Got to hold this area down in here. 200-day is hooking down a little bit. So it's bearish, right? It's a bearish chart, at least short term. Longer term, you know, it's bullish. Had the bad move down, but it's got to hold here. Just got to hold. All right. Anything else to look at? Let's go. Oh, NEO is another one. That was another one I wanted to get into as well. And I didn't. But NEO, look at this. Hi, Michael. So NEO is one of those that when it makes this type of move like this, you can see what happens afterwards. And so we're kind of making this move again. So NEO, and it's holding above the 127.2. Look at this, okay? I'm just saying, and I'm thinking about taking a position. But this is one of those that could be, and when it goes, right? It goes. And so this is another one of those that I'm thinking about taking a position in because it's holding a double bottom right at the 127.2 and then could make a move big time to the upside. All right, Friesen, have a good one, buddy. All right, XRP. Let's take a look at XRP. Yeah, almost kind of like the other alts, really. And again, here's your key area. I'll just let me do this. Let's do a rectangle. There we go. It's probably too big. There we go. All right. So this area right here, okay, on XRP. that is your key area to get through. Okay, period, end of story. It's got to get past 28 cents, right? Past 28 cents. Now, here's what I like about XRP. Okay? Notice the moving averages. Okay? All the moving averages, when you see it like this up here in an uptrend, see what happens? It tests, and then all of a sudden it breaks. And it comes down, and it's in a bullish trend, or bearish trend, but this 50-day moving average right here has been the key driver, okay? It can't get above it. If it gets above the 50-day moving average, right, at 28 cents, well, let's just call it 29, okay, just to be on the safe side. If it can break above 29, then guess what that does? It usually means that the 10 and the 20 are probably hooking up and crossing through, okay? Then you start a new bull trend. I'm not going to be bullish on XRP until I see it get above 29 cents. Once it breaks above 29 cents, I'll be bullish. Okay? But I'm not bullish right now. I mean, I like how it sets up for the longer term, probably, or maybe going into the, seasonal, winter and Christmas time. I like how it sets up, maybe possibly doing something like that. But to be on the safe side, I would probably, maybe if you wanted to, you could take a quarter position, right? 1 quarter, and I'm going to get out. Let me take out that 68 point. There we go. I mean, it's holding the 78.6 retracement. If it breaks below that, it's coming down to 22, all right? So what are you losing? 24 to 22, you're losing a couple of cents, right? But it's a possibility that it could come all the way down here. And that's at 20 cents. So I wouldn't risk the bank on it. To me, I will say this, it's tempting. It's very, very tempting to get into this one just for a small percent. Just a small position. Because the way it's holding this, I mean, this is a descending triangle. Obviously, if you was to draw lines on it. But holding this bottom here, it could just round off and go. Okay? But it's a matter of whether you want to play it on the breakout or if you want to try to get in at the bottom, right? But where's the bottom at? Is it here where we're at? Or is it down here? Or is it down here? So if you bought in today, are you willing to buy it down here? If it drops down there. You know what I'm saying? Or do you just want to wait and see if it breaks through this massive resistance right here, which is massive resistance, and it will be. But if it does break it, then it's going to just take off in a hurry. I mean, this thing can, like this green stick back here, it can do one of those, right? It can do one of those. It just has to have the right setup. And And let's see. I see somebody commented on Twitter, descending triangle back down to around 5,000. Okay. I don't see it happening. Sorry. And if you're the one that posted it on Twitter, that follows me and you're in this channel, no, don't agree. Sorry. Don't see Bitcoin back below 6,000 at all. Worst case scenario for Bitcoin, in my opinion, is right here. That would be right here between these two fibs right here. That would be 7,100 to 7,500. Worst case scenario. But no, I do not see this going all the way back down and hovering in the 5,000 range. No. No. I mean, this thing is wound up like no other. It's like a rubber band getting coiled and coiled and coiled until it has no choice but to break out. No, I agree, Jordan. I mean, now anything's possible, of course, right? Anything's possible. But to me, I think worst case scenario, and I'm looking at the 200-day moving average coming up, I think this is your worst case scenario. Right in here. I mean, worst case, like I said, is down here. But I think this is the logical area to bounce off of. Is 8,800 to 9,000. Maybe wick down and fill the gap, one of the gaps, and then take off. That's the guess. Now, I could be totally wrong, and this thing may just say, screw you, JR. I think we're just going to take off from here. And this is really, when I'm looking at this, it's like, I mean, and you're looking at it with me, look at the moving averages all bunched together. You got the 10, the 20, and the 50. All three of them right here, and price is just hugging all three of them. All three. So is price going to break down and test the 200? Or is price just going to break out and go up and test up here? That's the question. And that's the key. I'm not going to call it. I don't have the balls to be able to sit here and call it. But price is holding right here at a key level, 10,300. And I really think that if price was to break down out of this, that it would get people probably selling, right? You would think people would sell. They're like, oh, it's not going to break out, and they're going to sell it. And that could lead down to a gap fill. If it breaks up, then you get FOMO. And FOMO takes it up into here. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But right now, as long as Bitcoin just holds this area, I'm perfectly happy with it, because that means alts have a chance to move. Just go sideways. Go sideways for a while. I don't care. Go sideways for a few days. And let Bitcoin dominance drop off a cliff and come all the way back down to 70. Because guess what happens then? Alts take off. Now, the only thing with Bitcoin dominance is that, yeah, it hit that major fib cluster, but this area down here, it's going to come back and it's going to test the 50 EMA, right? It's all about testing the moving averages. So keep an eye on Bitcoin dominance, right? Because if it gets down in this area, you can bet your ass that it's going to try to bounce off of that. And what's that going to do to alts, right? So this is a prime time area to be able to take profits. You know, when that happens, just keep an eye on dominance, keep an eye on your alts, and just try to time them, right? Try to time them. So, anyway, let's go look at BAT. That's another one. I'm holding a little bit of BAT, not a lot, tiny bit. It'd be nice if it held this little area right in here. It's obviously a descending triangle if I was to draw lines on it. So if it breaks this bottom area, it's going to come way down here. Okay. Oh God, there was a chart. What was it? I saw the divergence. Might have been Bitcoin on a 4-hour. Let me go look at it. Can't believe I missed it. Can't believe I missed it. Oh no, maybe it was EOS. It was EOS. All right, here we go. Here's the other thing on EOS, right? Look at this. So you had the stochastic RSI bottoming out down here, right? And look where price is, right? Right there. And then you had this low, and look where price bottomed out. Higher indicator, lower price. That was a big time divergence right there. It was a key indicator on EOS, right? Big time. And so what is EOS going to do from here? Well, Bollinger Bands have expanded out, but you would almost expect that these Bollinger Bands are going to contract a little bit and come back in. So I would be thinking that EOS could come back into the 340 to 350 range, right? Before deciding to make its next move. That would be logical. But obviously a nice move off the bottom. Oh. One of my better calls. Happy about that one. Let's see. Yeah, could, come up and test the 38 point or the 50% retracement. I think right up in here is probably the prime time area to take major profits. 441. If they can get there. Right? Still got a ways to go. This is a multi-day play. Let's go look at other stuff. What else do we got? XLM? I haven't looked at it in a while. Oh. Interesting. Bullish engulfing? Is that right? Possible bullish engulfing? Yeah, it broke its 127.2. I'll get rid of that. But can't get above the 10, right? So I'm not all too fired up about getting into this one just yet. Would like to see it get back above the 10, hold it, get these moving averages. And this is the key, guys. Here's the thing, right? Okay? Here's the thing. In a bear market, which these alts are in, what happens? They come back and they test the 10. They come back and they test the 20. They come back and they test the 10. And then they come back and test the 20. It's a pattern, right? It's a pattern, but the pattern leads to lower lows, right? Because the 10 cannot cross the 20. So until the 10 can hook and cross over the 20, why take a longer term position? Why? You can't be long this thing, ultra long, back here when it can't break and go and get above the 10 and the 20. That's what moving averages are there for, right? Now, you could obviously like go back in here and sure, you know, look at this. You could have, 10 cross the 20. I'll take a position. I made some money. Get back in on a test of the 50. I'm back in. I make some money. Take your profits, get the hell out, and look what happens. Same thing. Now this right here is just ridiculous. I don't know what that was about. But if you stick to the trading plan and you've got, shares from what we talked about with the trading plan, then you could have made some money here. And you could have taken that off the table if you wanted to. But until, look at this, cross, and there's your cross right there. Boom, 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 boom. That is when you get out. And you just say, wait a second, I'm going to wait until this starts hooking back up a little bit. Wait until the trend goes in your favor, right? There's no sense in buying something when you think it's a bottom. It may not be the bottom. You got to let it curl, hook, and turn, and then you can get in. There's no reason to rush into something. And every chart's a little bit different, right? So that's XLM. Let's go look at Matic. And so what would one want to do right here? I can tell you what I do. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Stuck right here on the moving averages with no clear direction. Why would I buy that? Why would I sell it? I wouldn't be short. I wouldn't be long. No way. Wait for a break. There's probably some people that bought back, let's see, what was this? Back in, almost a month ago? There was probably some people that bought back a month ago that are like sitting here with dead money. Dead money. And some people probably got rid of it back in here. They were like, oh, it's not going anywhere. Let me get rid of it. And then just say, as soon as they think it's going up, let me get back in. No. let it make its move and wait for retracements. Why buy this? Why buy this right here? Unless you're just somebody on the inside that knows what's going on. Why? This thing could go either way. It could go up. It could go down. That's Matic. Let's go look at Litecoin. Actually, I haven't looked at it in a while. Same thing. Nice little double bottom here, and it's almost eerily similar to EOS, right? Eerily similar, right? So let's do this. I think I drew this. Yeah, I did. Let me get rid of that 61.8. And what's it testing? 78.6. That's a retracement area. That's a bearish retracement. Excuse me. So right here on Litecoin, that's your key area. 72. 73. Let it get above that and it gets more bullish, right? Stochastic RSI is getting a little bit oversold. Might be time for a pullback, right? If this 10 EMA can hook up and hold on a retracement back down to, let's say, 67 and hold that area, then you can take a position and ride the next wave. And I will say that this candlestick area right here is bullish. That's a bullish reversal right there. If this next candle can close green. If this next candle can close green, bullish reversal. And right now, it's holding the 10 EMA. See that? If I scroll in a little bit, see how price just hit the 10 EMA? Just touched it right there. If it can hold that area and close green, then this is good to go. And I think you could play it all the way up to, probably 79 or 80. Any questions? Does anybody have any questions about Fib clusters? All right. Any questions? Link. Let me take a look at Link. Link BTC. Thought I had Link BTC in here. Let me beat it up. Let's go. Look at this. Yeah, I guess I do have it in here somewhere. Hang on. Link BTC. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, let's do this. Screw it. Go to this. Alts. Yeah, link. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay. So obviously it likes the 200-day moving average, right? This may not be a bad area to buy, Link. Let's go and look at some retracements. Let's scroll in a little bit. So here to here. All right, so here's what we got on Link. Okay, so right at the 23.6 retracement, right? Which to me is kind of a weak, I mean, if it's a major bear market or a major bull market, then the 23.6 should hold, right? If it's major. If it's not, then it's going to go up and test the 38.2. So Link BTC actually looks right now, when you're seeing this 200-day moving average breaking above it, should, in my opinion, come up and test the 38.2. Okay? That's what I think. But like I told people in the channel, let's go look and let's do, and this is how I do Fibonacci clusters, okay? And this is going to be a teaching lesson, all right? So if anybody watched what I did there on the Fibonacci retracement, and I'm going to take this out and I'm going to do it all over again, okay? I'm going to start all over. Here's what I like to do, okay? So we know that this is a swing high, all right? And we know that this is a swing low, okay? So I'm going to do a Fibonacci retracement from here to here, okay? That's one retracement, right? And I can see where everything lines up, okay? Well, what if this is a bigger retracement than just from here to here? What if this is a retracement from here to here? Okay? So what am I going to do? I'm going to take my Fibonacci tool and I'm going to do it all over again. I'm going to go up to here all the way down to here. Okay? And if that's the ultimate bottom on Link, right? Then I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to get this and go up a little bit to where I can see things a little bit better. Close in. And I'm going to see if any Fibonacci's line up on top of each other. And lo and behold, what do I got? A 23.6 lining up on a 61.8. So boom, I've got a cluster. So what does that tell? What does that tell me, really? It just tells me that this area right here, knowing that a 61.8% retracement is a pretty strong retracement, that just tells me I need to do something like this. Just so I have it in the back of my mind, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do a rectangle. Okay? And I'm going to do like this. And I'm just going to put that in my memory bank, right? I'm going to sit there and say, there's a cluster right there. And I know that that 2 Fibonacci retracements line up right in that area. And that's got to be an important area, so that if it does break 38.2, then right up here is going to be some pretty damn important resistance, right? And if I look at this lower or upper Bollinger Band coming down, if this thing in the next couple of days decides to blast off, then guess what? I know that it's not going to just go right all the way up to here. It's probably going to stop right here. Or at least it's going to meet resistance right in that area. Right? So that's how I do Fibonacci clusters. I don't just draw from here to here and say, okay, that's it. I draw from multiple areas. Okay? I draw from here to here. I draw from here to here. If I was drawing on the downside, I draw from here to here. And if it was something back over in here where I saw like a swing high, then I would draw from here to here. And if I get so if I get an area, like Fibonacci wise, where I see 2 things lining up on each other, that just tells me that that's more important resistance or more important support. Does that make sense? Jordan, yeah, I mean, Link, I'll go back to it. Yeah, again, I mean, it's found some support right in here. So midterm, here's the thing though. Let's just do this. You always have to look at this, right? You always have to go back and look where previous support and resistance is, right? And so if I was to go over here and do this, take my horizontal ray, there we go. That was support. The question now is it resistance, right? That was big time support right over here, right? See that big green stick? That's big time support. It's got to get above that, okay? In this red line. It's got to close above that. Let's go over to a line chart. Okay? And I hate to keep pointing out line charts, but they are important, right? So here's the thing with line charts. There's your closing price. Let's close above the red line. If you can close above the red line, then it's time to go. Okay? So don't just rely on candlestick charts, guys. Go to line charts. Line charts. That's closing prices. That's where things close at. All right? So, anyway, that's where we're at on that. On link. You need to close above the red line. Any daily close above the red line, okay, or above this low. Get a close above this low and you're good. Okay? Any other question, guys? So, did everybody understand the fib clusters and did they understand the line charts? Just trying to go over those. I mean, I think line charts is something that, God, I hate to preach on it and just get it into people's head, but closing prices are key. And a lot of people want to look at candlesticks. They keep looking at candlesticks. And yes, they are important, but so are line charts. Line charts. This is back when there was no candlesticks. This is what everybody used. They looked at this, right? And they still do. They still do. But you've got to look at line charts. Where does it close? Is it holding a moving average? Is it holding a key level? Is it back above a key level? That's what you've got to look at. Quit relying so much on indicators, because what do indicators do? They react off price, right? Indicators don't determine price. They react off price. So many people do not understand that, and I still don't get it. It's like, it cracks me up. It's like, I look at indicators basically for divergences. If I see a divergence, or if it's oversold or overbought, right? That's what I look at it for. Otherwise, they're useless. You want to look at those because, you want to see the divergence, right? People think just because it's down here, look at this, right? And I'm just link for an example. Here we go. Here's link. It's a daily chart, and just because it hit down here, people are thinking it's oversold and it's a bottom. It's got to turn, right? It's got to turn. No, it does not have to turn. Things can stay overbought or oversold for periods of time. For periods of time. Look at this. Back here. Oh, it's going to break out. It's going to break out. Oh, it's going to break out. No. It can stay oversold. Indicators don't mean crap. Price determines what the indicators do. You have to react off what the indicators, if it's a divergence or not. Bullish or bearish, right? Let's go look at EOS. Same thing. Now, EOS reacts a little bit different, right? But still, price does not determine, or indicators do not determine price. It can get oversold and you can take your best guess. But I think I think it was on a 4-hour chart, right? I think that's how I came up with it. On why I did EOS. Why I took the trade. Yeah. I think it was back in here. Yeah. Down here. Stochastic RSI. Bottomed. But then over here, it made a higher low on the indicator. That was a bullish divergence. That's why you take the trade. Doesn't always work out, but it did on this one. And here's the thing too. On a line chart, not saying this is anything, but this is the first time since, what is this? Early June, since EOS is closed above the 200 EMA. Okay? First time. On a line chart. Closed above it right there. So, the thinking, like I was thinking, could come back in here and test. Yeah, let's go to that was on the, there we go. Like my thinking, could come back into 360, possibly 340 and test the 10 EMA on a wick. And then go higher. So EOS. And I have no idea what this company does. I have no clue. I really don't. I haven't done any research on it. Don't care. All I care about is the chart. Okay, any other questions? Did everybody understand my Fibonacci cluster and how I come up with that? If you didn't, please just raise your hand and I'll go over it again. All right, buddy. Does anybody have any chart requests? I'll look at anything right now. Any charts? Jordan, have a good dinner, buddy. Have a steak for me. Any chart requests? Anything? SPY. Okay, let me take a look. SPY. Is that the... I never heard of that one before. SPY. Oh, you want the SPX. I got you. All right. Gotcha. We're going to the major indexes. Hang on. Let's see here. The SPY. Here we go. I think. Hang on. It's loading. Oh, I think TD Ameritrade did something here. Hang on. Bear with me, BA. I'm going to have to restart my TD Ameritrade. Hang on. Maybe we're doing some sort of update or something. Hang on. Oh, everybody's all excited about recession, market crash, yada, yada, yada. We know how that works out. Ah, gold bugs. Okay. Yeah. Let me get logged in here. All right. TD Ameritrade is restarting. Here we go. You will be able to see me do this live without any rehearsal. I'll be looking at it just like you for the first time in a while. All right, so SPY. Here we go. Let me pull this over. Get it over on the main screen. Let me get this over. There we go. All right. Okay, so let's look at SPY. I had some lines drawn in here, but I'm going to get rid of them since I can't remember what the hell I drew them for. Let's get rid of all this crap. There we go. All right. So here's SPY, and this is on a daily chart. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so obviously we've got this ever since Trump took over. You know, we had this one down spot down in here, Well, actually, since he took over, it was way back in here. Big bull market had a V bottom, right? And so we're doing this little crap up in here. I mean, this is a bullish chart. I mean, it's not bearish yet, right? It's not. And everybody wants to make it out to be a bearish, and some people are wanting it to be bearish in their minds because based on political reasons or whatever, people are wishing that this would just drop off a cliff, right? Well, the chart tells us different. The chart tells us that we're making higher lows, right? Higher lows, and we're making higher highs. So why am I fighting that? All right? I'm not fighting it. In fact, the Bollinger Bands are starting to expand out. This one is coming down, right? And this one is going up. So this tells me that we're more than likely going to make new highs on the SPY, right? I don't know what news is going to cause that. I have no clue. Well, I say that, but I know that the U.S. and China are in talks to try to resolve their trade differences. So that's probably going to be the major player, right? So why fight it? What? Everybody wants to say that's the top. That's the ultimate top, and by God, it's the ultimate top. Well, what happens? It reverses off of it. Well, the U.S. gets into trade differences with China. That's the top. Well, somebody's buying into that bull crap right in there, right? Somebody's buying into that because they don't believe it. All of a sudden, guess what? U.S. and China are in trade talks. They're buying into it. So I guess until we see a higher or a lower high, then I'm not totally bearish on the SPY. Right? People can talk about the inverted yield curve all they want, and I've seen it before. But until the inverted yield curve is steady for 3 months or more, then I don't buy it. I mean, it can be inverted for 1 month, right? And people will talk about, oh, it's a recession. It's a recession. Well, what if it inverts back the other way? Then the inverted yield curve is no good, right? Inverted yield curve needs to stay steady for at least 2 to 3 months before I think down the road we see like a recession. That's my point. But right now, let's do some fibs on this. Let's just take a look. Let's go. Okay, let's do this. Hang on. Drawings, and let's go to fibs. Here we go. And let's just see if we're right. I mean, because right now it looks like it's around the 78.6, possibly. Yeah, there it is. And so I can take that out, that out, that out. Oh, wait a second. Hang on, you dumbass. There we go. Take that out, take that out, and take that out. Take that out. I'll take that out. I'll take that out. All right, so price is at the 78.6, okay? It's right here. Price is relatively, let's see, let's just take a look. It's above the outside of the upper Bollinger Band, maybe close. But it could just ride that, okay? I mean, it was way outside here, came back inside here. It could just ride this all the way up to the 127.2, which is 307. So the SPY could get up to 307 before the next dip. And the squeeze indicator is long. Okay? Look at this. Here's your squeeze indicator. Squeeze indicator is long, right? Why are you fighting that? Why fight that right there? That's long. That squeeze indicator is long. Okay? See that? Histogram. And we've got green dots now. There was a red one right here. Green, green. So this is long. This is long. Okay? It's a long indicator. So we got the slow stochastic hooking all the way up. It's getting into oversold. But what can happen when it gets into oversold? It can stay oversold. Look back here. Look back here. It stays oversold. Price keeps rising. So what we're going to look for is we're going to get up here and we're going to start looking for bearish divergences. That's what you look for. So I would be looking for longs up into this area and then a pullback. That's me. Let's go look at Nugget. NUGT. Did I type that right? Let's see. NUGT. There we go. Oh. And obviously you would expect the inverse reaction when people don't think that the market's going to crash, right? Based on China-USA trade relations, that when things are going to start getting better, then this is going to start coming down. Right? So many people were buying gold thinking of a financial crash, and obviously they had, the movement going right in here. But right now it's holding the 50-day moving average. So it's not a total time to give up on Nugget, but I would not be long Nugget right now. Because look at this. Stochastic RSI, or slow, not stochastic RSI, but slow stochastic, has hooked down, and it actually made a bearish divergence right in here, right? You had a high indicator, right? Right there. And then it came up and made a higher high with a lower indicator. That's a bearish divergence. That's why you get the big sell-off. And you get 3 black crows, which is a reversal pattern. So this could bounce. I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to crater right now, but this thing could bounce off the 50, come back into here around 39, and then just drop. Okay? That's how these patterns work. They retrace 50% of the pattern, sometimes 61.8. And let's see where the 61.8 retracement is. Let's do this. If you're long nugget, you may be able to get out. Let's see. Let's take that out. All right. And I'll take that out. All right. So I'll zoom in as well, because it's hard to see, right? So you could actually theoretically get a bounce all the way back up to right here, up to 41 on Nugget, right? But technically, according to the pattern, the 50% retracement is the area where it retraces back to before it continues to fall. Okay? So watch for a bounce back up into this area, possibly here, and then continue the pattern down. Okay? That's what I've got on Nugget. 3 black crows. 1, 2, 3. Reversal. You're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. Anything else, guys? Let's go look at the, while I'm on the major markets, let's look at SPX. Oh, SPX had a nice little gap. Look at this. Had a little gap right here. Let's put a little line on that because I'm sure that's going to get filled. Price level. Where is it at? There it is. And let's just make that a little bit bigger. There we go. Ah, come on. Damn thing. There we go. All right. So SPX has a gap to fill right here, right around the 50-day moving average. Coincidentally, surprise, surprise. Interesting. So this could see a wick down and then big move up, right? Come back and test the 10, 20 EMAs. Classic textbook. And then just rocket off higher. That's the thinking. And of course we got the squeeze indicator long right here. One thing I haven't looked at though is the weekly. Let's go look at the weekly. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. This is really interesting, guys. Look at this. Okay. I'm just going to point this out. Everybody wants to talk about Trump this, Trump that, bad economy. But the stock market is usually a leading indicator for the market, right? And what is going on in the market. Squeeze indicator just fired off long to the long side. Look at that. Right there. Boom. On the weekly chart. Okay? It didn't go down, right? It didn't fire off to the short side like it did back here on the weekly, but it fired off to the long side, and the slow stochastic is down at the bottom, right? So let's see if it comes up this week, and if this other moving average right here on the slow stochastic kicks it back. If it doesn't, it blows right through it and it goes to the upside. Okay? So I'm expecting good things, at least according to this. I'm expecting good things from the stock market this week coming up. And in the next couple of weeks, actually. Next couple of weeks, next month, probably going to be pretty decent, I would think. Okay, any questions? Hey, what's going on, Peter? Good morning from Australia. So no, you're fine. The squeeze indicator basically, when you look at it, okay, and you go and look at histograms, okay, it kind of gives you an advanced signal of where things might be going, and there's a caveat to this as well, okay, is that so if you go back and look, and let's just go back on this SPX, right, for example. You go back here and you look and you see where things were, even though the market came down, right? The squeeze indicator was like stagnant, right? Kind of stagnant, stalemated. You get a big signal right in here. The first, signal with a green, when you get a green dot and a red histogram, that just tells you need to be short. Okay? And you do not need to be long. Okay? You want to stay away from longs. And what happens? It comes down and it makes a major move to the downside. And so when you see the histogram, and usually these histograms last about anywhere between 6 and 9 bars, okay? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? You could have waited until bar number 8. Okay? And even though it started to reverse off that, you can see that the histogram lost momentum. And when you see the yellow bar, that almost gives you kind of like a green light, maybe, if you wanted to chase a bottom. You know what I'm saying? Chase a bottom a little bit. It's losing momentum and it's trying to work its way to the upside now. So when I start seeing stuff like that, like I see these long red sticks and then all of a sudden I see a yellow, that tells me that, okay, trend is reversing. Okay? Bears have lost momentum. It's reversing back to the upside. Okay? And so you could, if you're risky, you could take a position in here, write it up, and then all of a sudden when you get a green histogram or a blue with a green dot, that means your long is good. And it's going to stay good for another 8 bars or so. And so what happens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe more. And then by the time you get up to the top, by about the 7th or 8th histogram, you want to get out, right? You want to that's my profit area, getting out. It's going to start reversing, and sure enough, here it goes. Light blues or dark blues come in. You know what I'm saying? It's not too hard to figure out. Yeah, Peter, I'll go over Bitcoin here in just a sec. Okay, so anyway, that's a SPY, and we'll get off that. I think it's 5:43. Are the futures open for the? Let me see if the futures are open for Bitcoin yet. Yes, they are. Okay. All right. So, here's the Bitcoin futures chart. Okay. And let's just go zoom in on it and take a look and see what we got. All right. So as of Friday, and this was Friday, look what Bitcoin did. Okay. And we had this is a 4-hour chart. Okay. And yes, there was a gap. So let me go ahead and just draw that on there. All right. So there we go. So we got the gap. Okay. Let's do this. All right. So now what do I want to do? Okay. Let's draw some fibs on it. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. This is the good stuff about charting. You always want to see where everything lines up, right? And I have not looked at this chart, so you're seeing it live. All right. And so guess what happens? Let's take that out. Let's take that out. And so look where the Bitcoin futures bounced at, or at least as of Friday, they bounced off the 50% retracement. It retraced 50% of this move and then bounced, right? But it can't get above right here. What's that? 200-day moving average. So the 200-day moving average in the futures chart is holding steady, right, as resistance. We still have a gap area down in here at the 60. I mean, I would almost expect Bitcoin is going to drop down here. And that's on the futures chart, right? Around 10,000, 10,100. Still holding the 50% retracement, but 200-day is resistance. Now, and this right here, I'll tell you right now, this is what scares me about Bitcoin. Short term. That is a big time reversal pattern, right? Price went up, green stick, doji, okay? Big red stick. So anything coming into that is just kind of like correction stuff before it makes the next move down. And what have I been talking about on the major, like when I go over to the regular Bitcoin chart? And I'll go over to it right now. There we go. Let's go here. All right. Let's go over to the daily because I've been talking about this. Okay. So you just saw the 4-hour futures chart that I posted, right? Where we had the big reversal pattern. So do we really think we're going to break? If we break above this trend line, then it's off to the races, right? And you can buy into it. You can FOMO into it, in my opinion. Because I think if you break this area, it's probably going up to here, to this next trend line, which is 12,800. But why try to FOMO into it or break into it right now, right? Or trade into it now. It could drop down like I've been talking about. Here's the 200-day moving average, right? If I scroll out, and if I scroll out, and I go back to the big, like back when Bitcoin was, here we go, before Bitcoin broke out, look at this. Okay? Let's just do this. I'll zoom in on it. Okay? And this could be where we're at right now. Boom, boom, come back and test the 200. One, it did it back here, did it right here, come back and get close to it, and then it takes off, right? Okay, this was back in 2018 or 2017. So here we are, the 200-day moving average, right? We're following it, we're following it, we're following it, we're following it. It was bearish, bearish, bearish. Price kept trading below it. Price gets above it. And guess what? Guess where we're at now? Right here. Here we go. So, are we going to come back and test it one more time just to make sure? Right? Boom. Right there. Boom. 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 Or close to. Doesn't have to just actually hit it, right? Doesn't have to hit it perfect all the time, but in this area, right? This is a key area. Right in this area. And that's what? 8,900 to 9,000? Could it wick down and hit the gap at 8,500? Sure. But I'm just telling you, this is what I look at, guys. I'm looking at moving averages when we're in a uptrend. We're in an uptrend. If price was to drop below the 200, then that's not good. Okay? If it drops below, closes below, and keeps going lower, obviously trend has changed. We want to see, here's what we want to see. We want to see these moving averages. These smaller moving averages are just noise, right? They're all noise. They drive price higher, whatnot. This is your longer term moving average, right? That's your longer term moving average. That's the one you have to stay above. Okay? You see what happens when you get above it, right? When you get above it, price goes higher. You go below it, price goes lower. Does that make sense? It's not hard. It's not hard to figure out. Okay? We're consolidating just above the 200-day moving average. Consolidating. That's why price is not doing anything. It's like consolidating. And so until we get to a point to where the 200 says, boom, you go up, or boom, you go down. Okay? And I don't think I could have explained it like I could have pointed this out to a 2-year-old and they probably could have understood. I hope. Yeah, daily on the 200. Yeah, absolutely, Peter. Yep. I mean, let's look at it. I mean, here's what happens. All right? You get these moving averages when they come and test the 200. If they can hold, then, well, I'm older too, but anyway. But anyway, they test the 200 like back in here in 2017. Test the two. I mean, all these, the 10, 20, and 50 are just, they're the short term stuff, right? They get price going in the direction. But then when they hook down, everybody and their dog wants to try to sell it and think it's a bear market, right? Probably back in here, people were like, oh, this thing's garbage. Right here. They were like, oh, this is garbage. It's nothing. It's going to go down and test the lows. Blah, blah, blah. Well, there's the 200-day moving average saying no, no, and no. It's like, we're not going lower. And then it bounces, hits, all the moving averages turn around. They start going around, comes back and wants to test the 200 again, and then makes the massive move up to the upside. Okay? And so where are we at now? All right? Look at the longer term moving average. When it starts to hook down, you know, and even, I'll say this. I would, like, when the 200 gets so far away from the 50 and the 20 and the 10, when it gets far away from those, that is when you sell. You get the hell out. You get the hell out. Because price always comes back and tests the moving averages. Right? It came back and dropped back in here when nobody thought, when Bitcoin was way back up in here, oh, we're never going to test the 200-day moving average. Yeah. Tested it and went below it. And there's your bear market. Okay? And so now, price, and look at this. This is what I loved about, and this is why I called the end of the bear market, right? Was when I started seeing price way back in here, when I started seeing this, I was like, okay, the 200 is starting to flatten out, okay? It's starting to flatten out a little bit, and we're starting to get price consolidating at the lows. That's why I called the end of the bear market, because when I see something like that, that just tells me that price is going to rocket right through it. Okay? That's why I called it. And so now we're getting, just like we did in 2017, we're getting the 200-day moving average hooking up, which is bullish, major bullish, right? That's a bull market. That's not a bear market when your 200-day moving average is going up. So all these morons that are calling for a bear market, or that we're still in a bear market, they're idiots, okay? Just saying. Not trying to be disrespectful to them, but they're idiots. When your 200-day moving average is moving up, that's a bull market. That's a bull, okay? That's a bull market. So, anyway, that's kind of my thinking, guys, is that as long as the 200-day moving average holds and we don't crash right through it, that we're still good to go. Okay? And I saw a post, Peter Brandt is actually pretty damn good on his analysis. Is that this is technically what I put on here, and I've had this on here for a while, a descending triangle, right? You got high, high, lower high, lower high, lower high, downtrend, right? Down, downtrend line right here, and you got a base down here. Okay, that's a descending triangle, but it's a descending triangle in an uptrend. Okay, and he pointed out that 63% of the time in an uptrend, when you get a descending triangle, it breaks out to the upside. Okay? So 63% of the time, it breaks to the upside. So again, I'm going to keep my thinking that this 200-day moving average is going to come up right into here, and we're probably going to, it's going to meet probably based on time. Let's see, if I was to draw the line out, let's just say by September, late September, the 200-day moving average is going to be right at that key old support or old resistance, new support line. And so price could hit that and then take off, okay? And it would get it even tighter into this zone, right? This little area right in here. Okay, I don't think it's, I don't know that it's going to blast off from here. It could. It's always a possibility. But the thinking is that it's going to just curl down into here and then take off. That's my thinking. And I could be totally way off base. And if I am, then I'll take the heat for it. But I don't think too many other people are doing what I'm calling for. I mean, there's some people, I see some people calling for 7,500, and that's a possibility. But that would put it below the 200-day moving average, right? That would put it below the 200-day moving average. Squeeze the indicator. Let me look. There it is. That's a 4 hour. Let me go to the daily. Hang on. Yeah, there's the daily. Okay. And so this all almost, I mean, oh my God. I'm just looking at it right now. It almost all lines up. Let me get rid of some of these lines. I'm just going to get rid of some of this crap. I gotta get rid of some of this crap and just start over. Too many lines. Too many lines. There we go. Little cleaner. Little cleaner. Let me get this going here. Ah. Let me get that out of there. I'm just going to start this over. You're going to see it live. You're going to see it live. That's a weekly. Let's go to a daily. There we go. All right. So I'm going to start this thing all over. Okay. I got the gap. Support. I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, so there's the gap fill. Let me go up here and redo the gap fill on the upper side. Let's make that green. Make it bigger. All right. All right. So we got the gap up here, gap down here. And let's look at this. So you can see, obviously, on this chart at least, this is a daily chart. Okay. Still have the descending triangle. Okay. And of course, I could move this up a little bit, right? The gap fill area. I could move it up, and the triangle is still in place. So I'll do that. Hang on, I'm going to throw it in there. Let's see. Do this. And let's edit this. All right. There we go. Okay, so obviously the descending triangle is still in place on the futures chart as well. Squeeze indicator, you know, we had this down move right in here, right? Then we had the histograms, the yellow, popping up, trying to move it into the positive range. Still doing the same right here, but we haven't made, like back in here when we had the blue histogram, trying to get it into the bull category, right? So we're still like short-term bearish, right? Still short-term bearish. It's kind of like a no-go, really, for trading. It's kind of like let everybody else get themselves chewed up and spit out in this area, right? Because that's what's happening. I mean, look at this. There was people probably long here, and this is the new breakout, and then all of a sudden they get chewed up and spit out, right? They probably lost money here, and then they FOMO'd into it. This is the breakout. No, it's not the breakout. Got chewed up and spit out. Wait a second. Here's a big green stick. This is the one where we go. No, it's not. Resistance and spit out and chewed up. Bollinger Bands are getting tight, right? Here's the upper Bollinger Band. Here's the lower. We're going to get real tight on the Bollinger Bands, okay? Real tight right in here. Real tight. That's going to be when this thing makes it move to either fill the gap up here at 11.7, 11.8, or it fills the gap at 8,500. Period. End of story. Well, if it was me, I mean, if I was short back here, I would still be short, right? Why not? Because it has not made a higher high. I mean, it made a higher high over here, okay? And this is going to be the key, right? Because you come up here, you can't make a higher high. You had a high right here, and then you made a higher high right here, but as long as it doesn't break below this area, which is what? 9,500? As long as it doesn't break below 9,500, bulls could have a chance. But until it breaks that trend line, this is all noise for the bulls. Okay? I mean, I think this is just bearish movement to the downside until we get down into here. 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 And then take off to the upside. I mean, I wouldn't be massively short. No way. I wouldn't be massively short. No way you could pay me to be massively short. Would I be minimally short? Yeah. I'd be shorting into this, the uptrend line or downtrend line. I would short into that downtrend line and then keep my stop and trail it down until it broke that trend line. Does that make sense? All right, so any other questions about that? Thanks, Peter. I appreciate it, man. I'm trying to keep things like simple. You know, I don't want to get like too technical about things. I just want to keep things simple. You know, so that everybody can understand what to look at. You know, and especially when you're looking at your charts. And if you have your settings set up the same as mine, then it's pretty simple. It really is. It's like not hard to figure out. Yeah, match. Yeah, that's. I didn't even think I. And to be honest with you guys, I'll play stupid here. I don't know anything about what BACT is doing. I really don't. I haven't kept up with it. I just look at the charts. I come in and I look at like Bitcoin or whatever, and I look at the charts. That's all I look at. I don't know what's going on news wise. I mean, unless I see it on Twitter. And then even then, when somebody says something about it on Twitter, I'm like, who the hell is BACT? I or anything like that. I have no clue. I look at the charts. And I'm sorry if that makes me sound like an idiot, but I just don't have time to research all that stuff. I really don't. I don't have time. I just come in and I look at charts and look at the lines and moving averages and see where everything's going and make my decisions off that. Thanks, Peter. I try to keep it simple. I really do. So that was the futures chart. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I just try to keep things as simple as I can. I mean, it's not that hard. It's, you know, every day. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. You know, if you go back into here, and this was August or July, okay? How many times in July did you guys hear about, it's going to make a new high, this is when it's going to break out, or in July, when it's going to break down. This thing's going to 5,000 or 6,000. I mean, there's any number of people that can come up with their opinions on what is going on with Bitcoin, right? And what's going to happen. My contention is that this thing is just in a... I swear to God, if I went back to... I think it was June? Yeah, back in here. I think when it was back into June and it was in this area, I said, guys, get ready. We are getting ready to go into a sideways pattern. I swear to God, if somebody wants to go look back and check my Twitter feed, I could have sworn back in June I said this is going to go sideways for a while. I could have sworn I said that. I might be wrong. But that's just how I saw it. And I saw this as a big, at first I saw this as a big, like, bullish flag. You know, a bullish flag. But then it turned into kind of a descending triangle. And I guess if I was to do something like, well, it doesn't even play out anymore, but the bullish flag, that I mean, I guess it could. I could probably draw. I mean, God bless. Hang on, let me do this. This will be funny as hell if I do this. Let's see, trend line. Now, let me do horizontal. I'd have to go back and look at my charts and see what I did. Let's see, horizontal ray. Let's do this. I don't want to do that. I just want to draw a ray. There we go. And I think I was doing something like this, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I did something like this. Okay, is that this was one big ass bull flag, right? I drew it from there to there, I think. And then we came back, we went up, did this, and now we're back up to here. It could be one big ass freaking flag, right? Bear or bullish flag. And I'll zoom out, let you look at it. Okay? But then it kind of morphed into something else because I was expecting that maybe we'd come down and test the 200 down here, and that would be the bottom of the bull flag, and then it would take off, right? Because that's a flag pattern. But it morphed into a descending triangle. So anyway, I mean, you can get caught up all day, and I'm going to remove that. I mean, I could keep it there, and who knows, maybe it'll still hit there one of these days. But the point being is that anybody can draw lines, anybody can draw patterns, but to me, in my eyeball, a long time ago, I thought this thing would just go sideways. I just really did. I thought it would go just sideways, build a base, and look what's happening, right? Look what's happening. Okay, ever since we broke out, right? We broke out of the bull or bear pattern. We came up, and what is this? This where I'm drawing right here. What is this? That is a base. That is what you call a base. It's building a base to launch off of. Okay? This is not a base to break down from. After a bull move to the upside, it's building a base to launch up from. Okay? This is not something that, that's something that people don't technically see. And time-wise, in their mind, people are thinking, well, it has to go right now. It has to go now. No, it doesn't. This is something that it happens it takes months to do this. All right? We came up out of this. We built a base down here, right? Built a base, moved up, built a base, moved up, and now all of a sudden we're building a bigger base. Look at this. Bigger base. Okay? Bigger base. And guess where it's going? Up. Up. So that's why I keep pointing to this 200-day moving average, is that the 200-day moving average is the key. If price breaks below that, then we've got problems. Okay? We've got problems. If it breaks below the 200, problems. Right now, we are building a base. It's a base, guys. Okay? It's a base. It's a base. Does that make sense? Does anybody see what I'm seeing or showing? Okay? Base. There's a base right there. Base right here. Bigger base. It's a base. Do y'all see that? Somebody please comment. I can't be stupid, right? Come on, guys. It's like, that is no-brainer stuff right there. It's a base. There's a base here below the 200, a base just above it. There's a base right here, and there's a bigger base right here. It's got to break to the upside. Thanks, Luis. I'm starting to think I was the only idiot around here. Now, on the flip side, some people could do that, and I'm sure. Some people have flipped this chart upside down and go, "Oh well, there we go. It's a bottom. We're gonna make higher highs, and it's gonna go. What I'm saying in reverse. It's gonna go lower." No, sorry, I don't buy it. I think we're holding this area right in here If it breaks down, we're holding this area, and then we're going a lot higher. And it's going to be one of those deals that, like back in here, see that volume stick? See this? This little area? It's going to be one of those that if you're not in, then you're screwed. You are screwed. Totally. So if you're waiting for price to get down here, you might be screwed. Okay? And I'll tell you, at what point would you add bees? Well, I mean, BA, I'll just tell you right now, I mean, you could add, I mean, right now, the way price is going, I mean, it's like, that's a tough one to call. It really is. I mean, personally, and I'll just tell you this right now, is I just added a little Bitcoin to myself. So what does that tell you? I added some Bitcoin just now. And if it gets down to, let's say, golly, if it does, 8,700, I'll add some right there. Which I think would be probably the golden point if it does. If everything lines up and does what I think it might do, although I might not be right. I could be totally wrong. But if it gets down to 8,700, I'll add some there. But I'm not taking the chance that it's going to get there. Right? Because it's too close to that 200-day moving average that price might push up. You know what I'm saying? I just think right now, I mean, and I could be totally wrong, guys. I really could. And forgive me if I'm wrong. But right in this area, I added some. But if it gets down to 8,500, I'll add some more. Because I think that's going to be another area to get some cheap Bitcoin. I really do. So we'll see. Let's go check in on EOS, one of my favorites. Holler. Look at that. Booyah. Doing good. EOS. Love it. And I like what Bitcoin's doing right now, by the way. Just kind of holding steady. Just kind of doing nothing. Just kind of going sideways. Dominance is coming down. Letting these alts take off. Love it. EOS up another 6% today. I'll take that one as a good call. And I will probably take some off the table. Yeah, definitely taking some off the table right here. For sure. Upper Bollinger Band, 50-day moving average. Yeah, got to take some off the table right here. No doubt. Don't screw around with that. Don't screw around with that. Take some off the table right here. Let it pull back a little bit. Okay. Right into the probably 360, 350 area. And then add some more. And then let it ride. You know. Yeah. Gotta love that EOS, baby. Gotta love it. That was probably one of my best calls of the year. Really. One of my best calls. Wow. That was huge. Huge. Just saw it. Just saw it and loved it, man. Saw it the other night when we were talking about it, and I think I was actually on. Was I on live stream? I can't remember if I was on live stream or not. Maybe it was just in channel. I saw it and it hit that 78.6, and I was like, "Oh, that's money, absolute money." 78.6 retracement and hit it on the button. Hit it on the button. And then held the double bottom. It actually bounced off. Came up. Came back and retested the 78.6. And just after that, it was golden. Just golden. And look at it now. It's probably going to go a lot higher, I think. Like I say, it's probably going to go into the 4s, probably. But nothing wrong with taking a little bit off the table. Get the investment out, plus some profit. Keep a little bit in the bag. Yeah, love it. Love it. And it's early, really, if you look at it. I mean, if this thing was to take off, really take off, this is like we're in at the very bottom, right? Very bottom. Oh man, makes me happy. I just hope I only hope that other people got in off what I said. If they did and made money off it, so happy for you. Oh, so happy. Because I said the only thing that was going to stop me out on EOS was getting below $300 or $3. That was the only thing. XRP. Let's go look. Kind of like what I talked about earlier, and I drew this line in here. BA is that for XRP to me, okay, and I don't know what your long-term, short-term position is, So are you short term, long term? All right. So long term, here's my thinking on XRP. All right. And I drew this earlier. Okay. All right. You see my chart. Okay. You see that big red line right there? See that big red line? Okay. It has to get above that red line for me, at least personally, to get bullish, right? So back here was major support. Okay? Held it, broke out, came back down, tested it, held it, came back up, and then failed. Went right back through it, right? Okay? Came back up and tried to get back through it and failed. To me, this red line right here is major resistance. Okay? And so based on fibs and this line, that is the one to get past right there. Okay? Now, it's doing a good job of holding this 78.6 retracement right here, which coincidentally EOS did, right? So alts and most alts, and I pointed this out the other night, a lot of them were holding their 78.6 and 127.2 retracements. A lot of them were. And it was a key time for them to bounce. And I pointed out that the Bitcoin dominance chart was at its top. So this was a perfect opportunity for things to go or bounce. So XRP, in my opinion, needs to get above this red line. And if it does, then that signals a new bull trend. Right? Otherwise, it's still in a bear market. It's in a bear, right? Look at this. Downtrend line, downtrend line, downtrend line. But it's tried to hold this low right here, much as it did this low over here. Okay? But just because it tries to hold that low doesn't mean it can't go lower. So, I mean, it could go down here. Could go down here. To me, the key is if you want to get it, you can play it now. And if it gets past that red stick, that red stick right there, then it's good. I just, to me, I think XRP is one of those that, it's one of those that probably at one point, it could be like, you see a instant, it could be down here, could be down here. But at one point, it could be one of those one-day wonders that you get a big green stick. You know what I'm saying? There's news or something. Who knows? JP Morgan says they're going to use it, or Goldman Sachs, or who knows? But there could be a news event that makes this thing go a lot higher, right? We just don't know when that's going to come. I mean, it could come tomorrow. It could come next month. But price just keeps driving lower. But it's holding in this area, which makes me really suspicious that something might be up, right? Something might be up. Anyway, I would be like short-term, short-term bullish, mid-term bearish, long-term bullish. XRP. BNB. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, let me look at BNB, Harry. Hang on. Oh, that's been a nightmare for people. BNB. Oh. Okay. Well, actually, hang on. I think I went over this the other night. All right. So look at this, Harry. Okay. This is BNB on a daily chart versus BTC, Bitcoin. All right. If that's what you're looking at. Is that what you're looking at? Okay. Well, anyway, I'll carry on. So anyway. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So on the chart here, look at this. And you know what? Hang on. I'm going to refresh the page, guys, because it looks blurry. Hang on. I'm going to refresh. There we go. All right, much better. Okay, because it looked blurry on that chart. All right, so anyway. I'm here. All right, so anyway. Here's the trend line, all right? Bottom, and it broke below, right? Well, guess what? I've got a fib cluster just under the trend line. And this could be a fake out, right? We'll see. But the lower Bollinger Band is right here where the fib cluster is. Price is where the fib cluster is. Okay, I'm going to scroll in a little bit so you can see it. And look at this. Price is now back above the trend line. Okay, because it held this fib cluster area. And that was a major one, by the way. 78.6 and a 161.8. That's huge. That's a big fib cluster area right there to hold. And price is trying to break back above the trend line. It's hugging it. It's like we broke below and now we're trying to get back above, but we're hugging it. Right? So anything back above that, and I would say back above, let's do this. Here's the thing. Okay? I would say right there. There you go. So this area right here was support. Okay. Get above the red line. Okay. Get above that red line, which is right about where the 20 EMA is going to be. And then after that, it's bullish. Okay. It'll be short-term bullish. Does that help? Can you guys hear me now? Sorry about that. Had to take a bathroom break. All right, so Bitcoin. There we go. Short term. Let's look at the short term stuff. 4-hour chart. Yeah, 4-hour chart. I mean, basically, guys, this is kind of it's gonna go. I think, according to plan, is that I think this is probably gonna work its way down to this lower level down here at 8,900. It's just my feeling. And possibly fill that open gap on a wick. Could. But on the flip side, if we break above this area right here, and it's pretty close, right? It's pretty close to it. That downtrend line, if it breaks above that, then obviously things change, right? So that's the thinking. You guys hear me all right? Can everybody hear me? Okay, there we go. All right, perfect. Okay. So anyway, sorry about that. I had to take a bathroom break. So does anybody have any charts they want me to look at? I mean, I'm wide open. Chart requests. If you're in something, or if you have a question, or if there's something you don't understand, and by the way, guys, don't be embarrassed, okay, about a stupid question. Don't at all. Please do not. If there's a question like about what does EMA mean, or what is a moving average, or what does Fibonacci mean, there is no stupid question. Please ask me. I'm here to teach. And I will not laugh. I promise. I've been there. Although my cat thinks I'm an idiot. Come on, get up here. So, if nobody's going to say anything about what they're looking at, or chart-wise, or whatever, answer me this. Are you guys just holding on to cash? Are you afraid to go into something, or what's the deal? I mean, because I'm not seeing anybody asking any chart requests. Are you just holding cash right now and just waiting on something to get into? Harry, I'll tell you what, if you've been doing that for a year, then you are golden, buddy. You've been doing yourself right. I mean, Harry, if you're doing that, then buddy, I mean, coming up here is like gotta be the golden opportunity of a lifetime. I'm serious. I mean, my feeling, and I've made this perfectly clear in the channel and on live stream, is that I think there's a lot of these junky freaking altcoins or shit coins, as I call them, that are going to get a zero, right? It's to me, what I see in Bitcoin is much what I saw on the NASDAQ back in the early 2000s or late 1990s. I saw a lot of stuff that was coming on ICOs and pets.com. You could name anything you wanted to, and it was a .com thing. And all of them went to zero. They lost their ass. I mean, and so that's what I see in Bitcoin is I almost treat Bitcoin like the NASDAQ. It was like the leader of the tech industry. It was the leader. And, so it basically went with some of these .coms or whatever you want to call them. And I think that's what happened with Bitcoin. And now Bitcoin is coming up, and even though it's a currency, and this is really what's weird, it's kind of a weird situation, is that it's not a technical thing, although it is, but it's also a currency. So it's almost like a hybrid. You know what I'm saying? And so but it acts in the same way as what I saw back then, and everything under it. And I just think a lot of these things are going to go to zero, and people are going to lose their ass because they was like, this thing is going to go to the moon. It's going to be $5 or it's going to be $100 or blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's going to go to zero. I'm just telling you. Stick to the majors. Don't go to these, if you're going to play these small altcoins, just play them as if you're like, it's like a casino. You're not going to stick around. I mean, if you make $100, get the hell out. Go home. Call it a night. You're not going to sit there and throw back, let's keep going. Let's see if we can get more. Let's see if we can get more out of this. No. Take your money and go home. I mean, and if you go to my trading philosophy, that if you buy something, then get in and hold something, get your initial investment out if it pops, and get some profit. And if you can, keep some. But keep it as free so that if it does go to the moon, then so be it. You're fine. But if not, you're not hurt. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I'm trying to pound this into people's head as much as I can. It's like, just don't go long. Just don't go all in on something and think it's going to go to the moon. Don't do it. It's not. All right, BA, let me see what you got here. Please explain your current positions, if you don't mind, including cash. Okay, so let me let me break it down here a little bit. So I am right now, I would say probably 50% cash. I am probably 50% cash, and then the quarter of it is in Bitcoin, and then the rest of it is an altcoin. I will never, ever go below 50% in cash. Promise you that. Never. I mean, the only way I would go below 50% cash is like if Bitcoin got down to like 100. And then I would go all in. Altcoins. Okay, so EOS, obviously. Although, like I said, I took some profits off the table. I still have some because I did my trading plan. And then DGB, I have that. And there's some other ones that I just have small portions of. There's a bunch of them because I did my trading plan. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like there's not like a bunch, but I've got a small part. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could go into a bunch of them. God, there's BAT, BAT, God, ADA. Shit, I could go into a bunch of them. There's a bunch that I just don't have a bunch of like a large position, but I've got enough that, you know, if it did do something, it would make me some change, but not a lot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do like BAT a lot. In fact, that's one I was thinking about adding to. But it's made such a move right now. I don't know. I mean, golly, BAT is one of those that, it's so close to that 200-day moving average, and it's like, could it break through? It's like, I want to buy some more, but I don't know. I'm probably going to regret it. But, oh well. If it does go up, I'm still in the money. Not by much, but, you know, it's enough that it'll make a difference. Let's see. Question: which is better to use, EMA or simple? So, Match, here's my thing on. So I think on shorter time frames, EMA is the best way to go. Longer term, just simple. All right. So, although there's arguments made both ways. Shorter time frames, EMA, obviously, that's key, because they're all based on like how quick the charts update, you know, or the moving averages update. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Longer term, if you get to like a 100 or a 200, probably a simple moving average is better. Let's see. And what else we got? Small cap alternatives. Yeah, Harry, I get you. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to trust it right now. It really is. I mean, it's one of those fool me once, shame on me, or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on you, or shame on me. So that's kind of how I view alts right now, is that until I see these things, and here's the thing. Here's the thing on alts, and I'm seeing these like on a lot, right? Is that they're holding their bottoms, right? Better than what they used to. You know what I'm saying? Is that if you go and look at charts on some of these, you'll see, and it's almost like Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin would come down and screaming down, it would have this big spike up, and all of a sudden it'd come back down, spike up, and then go back down, and then and it's like what I'm pointing out on this chart, right? And this is BAT, for example. Bitcoin used to do this. It would go spike down, big spike up, and then all of a sudden it sold off. But when you start to see this little consolidation area right here, okay? All right? Look at this. That just tells me that alts are trying to bottom out. And I pointed this out the other night, is that a lot of them were holding their 127.2 or 78.6 retracements, you know, from longer term perspective. And it just told me that, you know, especially when you see the 200 real close, right? It's like it wants to get through. It wants to, you know, this is one of those that could just rounding bottom type things. You know what I'm saying? So it could like from here to here to here, and all of a sudden if we start to see like another, let's say BAT goes up, right? And it comes back down, makes a higher low, then that is your key that you can get in for the longer term, right? That things have turned. This just looks like, right in this area, that just looks like consolidation at the low. And that people are like, okay, it's not going lower. We're not going to let it go lower. This is our area right here. Right? Look at that. You didn't see that back in here. Right? Now let's go out to that was a 4-hour chart. Let's go out to a daily. And what do we got? We got a double bottom. Right here. And price is reacting off that. So, I mean, I would love to see this. You know, if I could draw it. I can't get a drawing tool. Let me get a drawing tool. Well, anyway, I can't draw it. But anyway, taking my mouse and just moving this. If I was to do this, I would say this is a line, hooks down, comes back up, hooks around, and then does something like this. And then goes up, right? Bottom there, hooking around, bottom, lower low, or higher low, and then go up. That's my thinking. We'll see. I could be wrong. Bull run on. Let's see. Do you think it'll bull run before a possible? I remember seeing people catch up their BC wings. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everything's different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, right now, this is the perfect scenario to me for alts, right? Perfect scenario. I mean, let's go look at Bitcoin, right? What's Bitcoin doing? It's going sideways. It's sideways. Bitcoin dominance chart has said, screw it. All right. Hit the fib cluster, right? Right up here, and bounce down off of it. Now, it's more than likely, okay? It's more than likely going to happen that it's going to, because this is a bull market on dominance, right? It's going to try to hold here, okay? Which it's trying to do, and then bounce and go up, right? And so what's that going to do for alts? If it tries to bounce, then alts will dip, more than likely. More than likely. Which is what we're expecting, because if some have broken their moving averages, then they're going to come back and test the 10 EMA, right? That's what we're talking about. If it comes back up here and tests and fails, then dominance is going to drop all the way back down to 70. And what is that going to do to alts? It's going to make alts go up. So the thinking in my mind is that alts will come back and test their key moving averages, the 10, the 20, or whatever, or break through. And then the dominance chart, in the next couple of days is going to fail. And that's going to allow alts to run. So keep an eye on your alts. I mean, if there was some that you missed, right, because you thought this is the bottom, I missed it, right? Don't worry about catching the absolute bottom, right? Don't worry about that. All you want to do is make sure that it holds the 10 and the 20 EMA on a retrace. That's all you care about, right? Because if they are turning, they're going to hold those. If not, they're going to reject off of those. I think I pointed that out. And if not, let's go back and look at, let's see where EOS is. Let's just do this, all right? So, here's EOS, right? We caught a nice little trade off the bottom here, right? Do I want to really, really, really hold this through? I mean, I'm not being sarcastic, but I'm just saying, do I really, really, really want to try to hold it through this? And that's 385. Do I really want to hold it through that? If I'm in EOS, and trust me, I did this because I stuck to my trading plan, is that I had a big move right here. I'm not trying to get the moon. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go all the way up here and think it's going to go all the way to the moon. I'm looking at shorter term, right? Because this thing is not going to go just straight up. It's going to go this, down to here, and then up. So I'm thinking in my mind is that alts, based on the dominance chart, it's going to bounce, right? The dominance chart is going to bounce. Alts are going to go down a little bit, right? So I'm thinking in reverse here. So if dominance bounces off its support, then alts are going to reverse off their resistance, right? So I'm looking at getting back a little bit EOS because I still have some, but I can rinse and repeat this thing if it gets down to here. And that's going to be at 340. Maybe 360. See what I'm saying? I mean, if it goes all the way up here, then fine, so be it. I still have EOS. I still have it. I'm not worried about it. I don't care. Because I took my initial investment plus some profit out here. I'm waiting for it to get back down to here. And if that 10 and 20 can cross, and it has not done that in forever, let's go back and look on the daily chart. Go look at the 10 and the 20. Has not done that since way, way, way back. Right? So if those two cross, that's bullish. Big time bullish. Does that make sense? All right, guys. Gonna call it a night. Gotta go let the best friend's dog out. So anyway, y'all take care, and I may be back on here a little bit later. So we'll see how it goes. All right. See ya.